Good morning. Can you guys hear me? All right. So once again, I think the easiest trade was in pre-market. Like I'm really going to have to open up a Webull account. I think that's like over a dozen trades in 10 trading days that has happened in pre-market and after hours. So as you can see, we gapped up on the QQQ in the overnight. We hit the value area high of the structured zone over here into the supply zone, and we literally just bled. So if this was in regular trading hours, this is like 150% move, right? From 726 down to 721. That's a $5 move. Easy 150% plus move. Straight down, knife drop, no reprieve. No reprieve. That was the easiest trade of the day, and it's already been taken. So if I had to have a little bit of a bias here, I wouldn't think we just pick a strong direction this week. I think there is some sideways chop, especially as we have VIX over here that needs to build some structure. There's not really any structure for like $5. There's no structure over here. It's just a knife drop. So there's a little bit here, and there's like a 30-minute supply zone right here, which it's once again, it's only 30 minutes. So I'm going to assume VIX taps one of these levels and then rejects and then just consolidates for a little bit and builds structure for the rest of the week. So if I had to have a little bit of a bias here, you can see the hourly trend clouds supported by the green line. I'm going to assume, I think QQQ might fall into this demand zone, the 4-hour demand zone from last week that I mentioned in Discord, and then find support between that and then the green support, hourly support. I think I might take a small trade on QQQ to go long there if that happens. But other than that, on the day trading stance, I think that was the easiest trade. And it's already been utilized. Go ahead and take a look at everything else. Just waiting for the sell off, guys. We'll look at 718 tomorrow expirations. Excuse me. So it looks like it wanted the hourly demand zone that I didn't fill out right here. Hmm. Nike has about a 10-day inverse head and shoulders setting up on the buy zone. It's currently in the buy zone for the swing trade account. MSTR is in the supply zone in the trading range, starting to break down from that level. Above 100 to about 105 is like a trim zone until we can actually break out of that sideways trading range. NEO sitting up about 6% from that low of last week, trying to build out some structure on the high end. So right now, what they're doing is they're creating a bias with intraday options. So we just got to give it a moment. So as far as the trade, I think the easiest trade was in pre-market. They keep making the easiest trades outside of trading hours, and then they're being manipulative with it. I think there's an opportunity for a long side around like 719 on QQQ. But I need to see how SPY responds. Because if it just drops down to 719, SPY's kind of like up here. So let's see, what kind of structure are we sitting on? We do have a little demand zone right here. Which that would make sense. And then our supply zone right here was already tapped in pre-market, like I said. And then there's a demand zone right here, and that's what they're doing right now. So they're chopping this demand zone up for either a rally or a rejection. They likely need to build a little bit of structure where we're currently at. Don't do that. We got CLSK breaking down from that rejection. It had like a 13% drop last week. Looks like all of miners are kind of selling off. Let's see what else we're doing. Mega cap chart is barely red. We got SpaceX and Microsoft a little green, kind of holding the market up. Intel down 4%. We could honestly see a squeeze into the market back into the supply zone and then back down to the demand zone. That could create another trade if we saw that. Just kind of got to stay on our hands. There's probably going to be a trade in like the next 30 minutes. We just got to get out of this middle zone, right? This is an in-between zone. We don't do anything here, right? There's a demand zone here and a supply zone up here. If you're in the middle, you can't take anything. It's a no-go zone. You can see that we're starting to get chopped up fairly easy just because the trend cloud, the green trend cloud, is starting to just get wonky, right? It's not holding as much value as it was. Like Friday, it was the support zone. Just get bought on the bottom end, and now we're under it. And what they're doing is they're creating structure as this flips the 9 and 13 on the hourly, and then it'll most likely become resistance. So what I'm thinking is these pops keep getting sold into. You can see the VIX already starting to sell off. We'll probably start to see the market weaken once we get under the 50 and you get around like this area. This is probably the buy zone for VIX. But for now, they need to create like the dips are getting bought. Let's see what we got as far as right now. We're seeing the rejection where the Bitcoin needed to. I deleted this for the last post I did, but there is a trading channel here that we're literally rejecting. Supply zone on ETH. Most importantly, we're sitting at this resistance. Is it going to SR flip or not? I'm always messing with this. Close on the supply zone. I guess we'll see if we get a breakout here. If we get a breakout above this level, that'd be bearish on the market. So let's see if we get a rejection. SpaceX going green to red. All the miners have been in a constant bleed since pre-market high. MSTR is close to breaking its Friday low. It's currently around that level. So MAR rallied up to like $16. It's breaking back under 10. So on a psychological basis, typically like $9-ish, 850 will probably get tagged, and you look for a bottom in that area. Acceptance under 8 is a look above and fell on a psychological level, and it probably means that crypto is going to shit. So where are we at? And if you look, 78% retracement is 850, so that makes sense. So we have the 1025 bearish below, immediate start to waterfall. You literally have a head and shoulders here that is currently playing out. There's an ascending support here, but I wouldn't put faith into it. I think this $8.50, $9 area gets tagged on Mara. And realistically with this is a dog walk. So realistically, you don't even need to buy until we break out of this descending resistance if you are a buyer here. It's a descending trading channel. It's probably over this level. There you go. Make it a little bit easier. So if it drops down here, you know, Monday or Tuesday, you're looking at low 8s. But you got to be careful and make sure it doesn't get dog walked down here. Right now, you've been seeing rejections every time it hits. So we're looking at here for pre-market is this purple line on SPY has been resistance, and then this descending resistance. So we're looking for both of these to be tops if the day is going to be bearish. In the first half, if we get acceptance over these levels, then you're looking at a bullish first half of the day. We could see another test of pre-market highs. Mars is literally just melting. That head and shoulders is going to play out. It's a dollar drop. Down 4% on the day. Others are 2 to 3%. You're looking at MSTR right now about to break yesterday's low or Friday's low. Okay, so now you're at the SPY high. Let's see if there's any kind of respect here. I'm going to grab some 775 SPY puts today. All right, I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple. I'm not sizing up here. I just grabbed like 3 or 4. I'm trying to just get green on the week. See what we can do here. Cost basis is 198. I'll risk $100. I just want to see if we can get those green support levels tapped. I don't typically take trades in the middle. I'm going to just see what this is going to do. That's why I took such a small size, because this isn't an A+ setup for me. But if we do tap these green levels, this should be 100% play. So that'll be a nice start to the week. I'm looking at a stop loss around like 170. Yeah. Yeah, they're going to squeeze it and close this VIX gap most likely. You can see them try to SR flip that purple line. You can see how strong that respect was as soon as we dropped down to it. I have a sell at market order ready on these guys. I'm not willing to lose more than just like $50, $75, something like that. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, you can see the buys come in on that level, guys. That was a really strong respect. I went and closed them. Well, it's like $60. It's not a big deal. See what happens. I'd rather wait for the edge case rather than trying to trade in the middle. I didn't want to size up on that because we're literally in the middle and I'm playing micro trends. That is a wonky Head and Shoulders on the mega cap chart. I think that might play out because it's not easily seeable. Can you even see it on any of the? Nope. Nope. All right. Do you guys see that? How on the mega cap chart you can see a Head and Shoulders, but on the SPY and QQQ you cannot. I think that might play out. All right, I'm looking for rejection here. Now that we broke out of that, I said that we would re-enter the supply zone. It's most likely going to find resistance at this purple line, just like SPY did. Now, is that green? Okay, we're a little bit green. This red line here is the VPOC. You can see an initial reaction there as well. It's trying to respect it, which is the volume profile. It's resistance over here in pre-market. Changes a little bit based on it being on a 1 minute, but on the hourly it's up there. I mean, Boris, SpaceX just rallied like 20% in a day. I mean, that's a trim regardless, right? So you have either a measured move, which it's kind of like right there, or you have a wave 3. I mean, when it rallies 20% in one day, you trim it. Ideally, we go up here to this SR flip to the 147, but it can always reject between 1.1 to 1.6. That's why I have like 1.38 here, because this is like a major, like kind of never makes it to 1.61. Because a lot of Fibs extension traders always sell at the 161. So nowadays it doesn't exactly always make it there. So what you're looking at is a demand zone here. Is that looking at a 4-hour demand zone here. And the bottom of that level is 127. So if it breaks under 127, that is a look above and fell. That shows a lot more weakness than it should. But ideally, we find a curl right here. It's currently in a 4-hour demand zone. It should rally out of this demand zone. The easiest way to do this is typically if it goes past the 61%, it fails. So even though this is the actual weakness bias, if it gets past this level, it's even more weakness, which is 130. So price should stay above 130 ideally. And typically it curls out of the 38 to 61. You can literally see it immediately respond on the 38 for a $2 move. Do you guys see how in the opening they made it look bearish and then they squeeze? All they do these days is literally just trade against retail. They create a bias so that you get manipulated. All right. So now that we hit that level and we're hitting the supply zone again, I'm going to go for Friday expiration. QQQ puts 726. I'm going to do a starter here. I'm just buying one, and then if we go deeper, I'll buy more. Cost base is 697. We have to put some respect on this, guys, right here. SR flip of this ascending support and supply. All right, so just be mindful of that. We are trying to reclaim the trend clouds, so that could be bullish. But we'll see if the entire high of pre-market high gets tapped. Like I said, the easiest trade was in pre-market yet again. If we could have gotten that, then I would have taken it. But now, like, even that supply is tapped because of pre-market. So I'm a little hesitant. I'd be more confident to go long, down on the bottom end of those ranges that I talked about in pre-market. All right, so our Friday expiration 726 QQQ puts. Cost basis is 697. Highest sell volume candle of the day on Microsoft. When you see one of these candles, this is the shorts trying to step in for the day, right? So it's very easy. When you see something like that, you literally just draw a candle, resistance. Now, if they get above this, that means even up here, the buy demand exceeds supply. That means the bulls are stronger than the bears, even here, because this is their first attempt. So now you want that to be the high of the day, which was essentially where my resistance line that I was drawing just a second ago. So now it's attempting to draw to break down from the ascending support from the market open. This is a hidden inverse head and shoulders on the VIX. That's what that is, guys. Right here. It's an invisible. Do they show that in global? No. Regular? Nope. That's an inverse head and shoulders. It's going to curl and we should sell off into the end of the day or tomorrow. That is my bias. You can see right there. Up 4% on the QQQ puts. You can see SpaceX curling out of that. Oh, in the world. There we go. It's attempting. You can see that the blue cloud was support, and now there's going to be an attempt at resistance here. If you bought this and you're up significantly, you should trim. So there's going to be an attempt at resistance between this 134, 135, 136 area. But I mean, 20% in a single day, especially if you bought options, you need to trim. Don't be greedy. You can see the obvious respect to my level here, guys. It's attempting to find a top here. QQQ, new intraday low. Finding weakness here, guys. Up 10%. It's most likely going to try to find support at that SR flip and this ascending support. But if we start getting under the blue line, that'll increase weakness. You can see the green cloud trend into the supply zone was also broken by SPY. So if we were going to try, it'd be right here. If you wanted to close that position for 10% profit, right now is your time. If you want to take the small win and wait for the next entry, you could go for it. Because we could bounce back to the highs and then still reject. But if you want to take that small win, go for it. Immediate rejection. Always be scamming inverse head and shoulders when Baidu immediately broke it open. They've been messing with people so hard. Really waiting on this area for Bitcoin with the BS indicator. Ethereum broke theirs. That's not too good. I was looking for a lower low on US oil, but with this BS indicator breaking out, if we break above this level, that have an alert set, that's really bearish on the market. So we'll see what happens here if this is like a look above and fell or not. Right now it's in the supplies descending resistance band. This right here, guys, all eyes on Tesla. If we're going to break out, it's going to be in the middle of this day. If we break out or break down. Essentially, if Tesla closes the day red, it's most likely going to be a hard rejection. Can also go ahead and draw an ascending support here because that's also going to be a clue. This is a big deal right here. AMD is doing the same thing. We had this support here that made the parabolic move. Now it's at this resistance supply zone. It needs to break above it. Not only these descending resistances on the BS indicator, but this right here. You see this, guys? Little micro tops. Every rejection was a micro top. See this? Micro top, big top, micro top, micro top. So rejection here would take AMD lower, and you got to realize that's a head and shoulders building. So rejection here is a head and shoulders play out on AMD, which could take you back to the literal lows. So what do? We draw the neckline and have an alert set. Now broke out of its level. Top, top, top. You see this? Top, top, top. That's why I said that I believe this is one of the things that helped me start to believe that I think it's possible the now bottom is in. Okay, I'm gonna do some rejection on Google. You can see it marked the top here as well for another bottom. We'll see if that actually happens. So if we hit this green support line on the BS indicator, that would be another bottom in Google. Here's the NVIDIA hidden resistance that no one sees that my BS indicator shows. Top, micro top, micro top, 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 micro top. Now we just need to draw one of these so we can know if it's actually rejection. You can see that we're in a weekly supply zone. I literally have this pre-marked, bearish bias below, but the top is in bearish bias. Look how close that was for invalidation, $2 away. All right. So NVIDIA rallied 15% from the buy zone. That was alerted back in early July. And now we are in the weekly supply zone. We're getting a little bit of rejection here on the day. There's a demand zone right here. You can see, but I'm just going to draw this and then put bearish below. So let's keep an eye on 217. If we start to get under this, that's pretty bearish. And then you're looking at maybe this gap fill into this demand zone right here. Okay, good. All right, guys, it is 10:30. So what does that mean? It means chop fest. So what you can do, I'm going to go run some errands and get off for a little bit. If I see any major changes, then I will alert the Discord. But as far as right now, you're looking at the 10:30 strategy. Okay, so you got the high here. I'll go ahead and alert this in a white zone. Okay. All right, there's your 10:30 strategy. So a couple candle closes to above this level, and then it'll grind higher, most likely to the pre-market high. Or we could reject, and if we get a couple candle closes under this, then we get a rejection and a trend day downward. So let's see what happens here with that. You can see an attempt to try to sell off from this 10:30 high, but that's the 10:30 strategy. We're just grinding higher into the supply zone. You got to realize that this SR flip from the parabolic move low is right here, and we're just sitting here grinding out a break below and a back test. That's what that looks like to me. It doesn't mean we can't grind higher and just ride it up, right? Like we saw that last week as well with SPY. So we need to kind of keep our eyes on that. Really quick, Alibaba is trying to break that head and shoulder setup. It just spiked from 128 to over 130. Mara filled retapped the pre-market low and is back at lows after rallying. Same thing with Clean Spark. Got MSCR doing the same thing. So just be mindful of that. Most likely you're looking at something like this. I'll go ahead and do it on the SPY as well. So you got the opening low, which is, what's pre-market low? And then the 10:30 high. So this is a chop fest until it breaks above and back tests and then starts basing above it or basing below it. You're kind of looking at a chop fest. So just be mindful of that. Be careful. Don't be trying to take trades in here. See if we break this high. It's literally at pre-market high right now. It's in the supply zone. So that value area low. It'd be kind of crazy for it to go all the way up there, but realistically it could. Remember, my base case thesis is we grind out of this box right here. So no matter how far we're zoomed in, I think we trade sideways at least until CPI. So do we get like an ABC down here and then a rally all the way back to highs? I could see that happening. I am holding that, Agni. I'm trying to see what today brings. Essentially, this should be the high of the week is what I'm thinking. But I'll update in the second half of the day. I usually don't make decisions on like weekly options in the first half of the day because that's literally what they do, right? They do liquidity searches. So they can make the entire day look bullish in the morning and then take a bearish to the second half of the day. So then I close out my puts because they tricked me. Yeah, no, that's not happening. But once again, my thesis is we grind out, a 10-point range, 12-point range until Wednesday. So do they just keep us high here and then we gap down and we sell off tomorrow? That's probably the most lamest Wall Street move that they could do, which could be it. You know, like how often, guys, how many times have I pointed out that they keep taking all of the trades in the like outside regular trading hours? So it wouldn't even like at this point, like I'm almost skeptical that they're going to just grind it higher, sit it at the high, and then gap down, and then they'll sell off tomorrow. They'll gap down and they'll sell off and they'll trap everyone that bought today. Like that'd be the most lamest shit and probably what they could do. But we shall see. 1030 strategy. Let's see what happens. I don't want to sit here and see a dollar move for 2.5 hours. That's like watching paint dry. So I'm gonna go run off some errands, and if I see any changes, then I will let you guys know. Keep an eye on BABA. It looks like it's trying to breach that high a day. MSTR has rallied back to that high. It's tapping this resistance a lot, right? But you don't take any ads until it hits the purple zone. You know, we've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4 trades. 4 trades, guys. That's a lot of money there. All you had to do is take it, right? But this is and could be a head and shoulder setup. So if we do get that sell off in the middle of the week, we could literally see it just really back hit this. All right, that's a little mini head and shoulder setup. So let's see what happens. If it's going to happen, it's probably literally going to happen in the next hourly candle. So it's going to be like a green candle and then a red candle, completely canceling out the green candle. But this is an inverse head and shoulder setup that's kind of invisible on VIX. So we could see a pop up here. And that's what I would like to see. I would like to see like us rally up to like 16 and then us be on the bottom end of this purple zone, giving a double bias that we rally from there. And then that will be like the bigger trade. If I can get both of those, I'll size up. But as far as right now, still trying to make just a little bit of a win. All right, guys, I'll keep you updated. Have a good day. Mirror Netflix, I posted it yesterday. Just literally review my timeline. I gave a lot of really good posts yesterday. So just review them all. They're all worth